guys? I'm Gabriel. This is my wife Michelle and Millie, of course. We just wanted to kind of give you guys a tour of our setup and what we have been doing with it. It's still a work in progress. There's still a couple of things that I still need, but other than that, we have been just enjoying it as it is, and we've kind of learned things that we don't need and things that we do need along the way. So we just kind of wanted to show you guys and kind of talk about the stuff that we, have, learned as we've been building this overlanding vehicle. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was first aid. A first aid kit is very important. I've already used like half of the bandages from it just from work, because I do body work on cars and cars really like to beat you up. But I bought everything that I mentioned in this video. We'll put a link in the description for, but it's like a basic Amazon first aid kit that just comes with basic bandages. I forgot what else comes in it. Scissors, all that stuff. It's come in handy, and it even came in handy during our trip. Another thing that's like not super necessary is a fridge and a battery pack. A fridge is very handy for food and keeping everything cool. You don't need one. You also don't need a battery. Our first trip, we actually just went with a regular like igloo cooler, and just a very basic cooler. Just put ice in it. It lasts like 2 or 3 days, and that's substantial for your first trip. I mean, if you want to have a higher budget, you can go ahead and purchase the batteries and then the fridge. You can, like, for example, Bose RV sent me a fridge that's, I think it's 37 quarts, and it's a 12 volt, and it's a dual zone. So I'm super thankful that they sent me it, and it's worked out, and that's what we used in our last trip. We also got sent a battery from Bose RV and also Gricel. Both of these batteries have held up like power to all of our devices. The Gricel one ran my fridge the entire time that we were in Georgia, so we had no issues with that. And we used the Bose RV one to charge our devices like the camera, drone, etc. Other thing is a flashlight. Trip last week in Georgia, we didn't have headlamps. That's something that we didn't think we would need, because we had a ton of flashlights, but we actually need them. When you're out camping in a national forest or a state forest, wherever you are, you're in pitch black darkness. There's no light around you, so you can't see anything.
Especially when you find your campsite last minute after
Exactly.
a situation.
Exactly. So headlamps, like, she went to Walmart while we were in Georgia, and she bought $1 Ozark headlamps, Ozark Trail headlamps. They're literally $1, and they worked out perfectly. We did end up getting better ones off of Amazon, and we haven't tested them out yet, but they are very bright, and actually I'm kind of excited to use them, because seeing around camp with a headlamp is very easy to do, and it really comes in handy.
That lizard is just staring at me.
The next topic that we would like to talk about is how we organize things, water, etc. So right now I have a storage system for my truck that goes in the trunk, as you can see right here, and I'll have some videos in the background playing. We've tried to organize it as much as we can, but it's not really easy, considering a lot of the things are big that go in there. I keep mainly cookware in there. Anything food related, like my stove, my propane tank, goes in there. But it's come in handy because it's freed up a lot of space on top of it and in the back seats, so we don't have a lot of stuff. Mainly our clothes, like our clothes bags, go in the back seats now, and we still have a space for Millie's bed. 2 5-gallon jugs. It might be overkill, but for us, I mean, one jug could be used as, dish
We're
cleaning.
being safe than sorry.
Yeah, better to be safe than sorry. One jug could be used for dish cleaning and showering, and then the other jug could be for drinking water. Either way, we always like to make sure that it's clean water inside of it. On our Georgia trip, we did camp by a creek. I don't know if you guys did watch the video, but we did camp by a creek, and I did end up refilling one of the jugs with the creek water. May not be the most, it's clean water, but it's not filtered. So I wouldn't
Yeah.
recommend drinking out of it, but cleaning your dishes and showering with it, I don't see a big of a deal.
And for drinking water, we had our Stanley cups, and we were able to fill them up at gas stations.
Yeah,
Or
gas
any
stations
stop
for
that
sure.
stops at.
Yeah, any rest stop or any gas station that you stop at, they'll give you free water. Easy to get water. There's no, I mean, unless you just don't plan ahead of time. But I'd like to talk about next is the rooftop tent. We've been wanting one for a while now. We were able to pull the trigger on a decently budget one by Inspired Overland. If you don't know what the company is, we'll link them down below and everything like that. But they're a very budget tent, and they weigh a lot less than what other
Your
rooftop
average
tents.
tent.
Yeah, like other rooftop tents weigh around 200 pounds. This one only weighs, I think, 87 or 85 pounds. And for a 4Runner, a 3rd gen 4Runner, that is very ideal because the amount of weight that already goes into the truck causes it to already slow down. So putting a 200-pound tent on top of it, it didn't justify anything for me. And I went with this one, and I literally do not see a weight difference at all when I'm driving. So it's been amazing. Michelle and I slept in it, and it was super comfy. The windows open up all the way. Like, there's no like little circle windows. It literally, the whole side of the tent opens, so you have plenty of airflow. It has a rain fly, so if it does rain, you can close both of the sides, and you're fine like that. But it's worked out, and for a budget tent, I couldn't be any more happy. The next thing would be a trash bag. We learned, well, everybody kind of learned this in the most recent trip that we took. We have a trash bag that hangs over the trunk of my truck, and it's basically an off-brand Trasharoo. It works the same way. It's like $25 on Amazon as of right now.
And it's for trash.
And it's literally for trash, so you're gonna be putting trash in it. Some people use it for firewood, for tools, etc. But we used it for trash, and it was super handy. We literally loaded a bunch of trash in an actual trash bag and then put it inside the bag, and I was able to dump it at a gas station or anywhere that has a dumpster. They'll let you dump it. Other than that, it works. There's not really much else to say about it. It's just a trash bag, but it comes in handy. Normally you're supposed to put them on the spare tire on the bumper, but as of right now I do not have that, so I just have it on my trunk, but it worked. One of the final things that we would like to talk about is just planning ahead. You don't have to exactly plan ahead on the trip. You know, you want to be adventurous, explore, but there are some parts that we have learned to plan ahead on. So for our most recent trip, we wanted to go out there and be spontaneous, and we downloaded GPX files for this app that I use called Gaia GPS. It's the best GPS for offline use. Like, I can go like to an SOS location where my phone has no service and the GPS will still work. So I downloaded an offline map with the Georgia Traverse, and that's how we got around. And it shows exactly where it is, and the person that made it put waypoints. So it would be like little waypoints that say possible campsites, but then keep in mind they're possible campsites. So one of our biggest mistakes were going to try to find a campsite too late. We would end up finding a campsite at like 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and we would all be tired when in reality we all want to like relax and, you know, enjoy time at the campsite, because that's the whole point of it. But you know, that happened. We ran into areas, for example, the last trail that we went into was called Charlie's Creek. It's one of the most famous trails over there, and unfortunately
Parts of it were closed. And then in front of it says no off-roading prohibited or whatever. End up still finding a campsite, but you know, just make sure to kind of plan ahead to see if some campsites are actually open, because we came across it. We had to stop at one campsite the second night that was extremely muddy. Like, her dad almost got stuck in it. And we had no other choice.
And yeah, we had no other choice. So her brother's truck ended up breaking his ball joint.
and it was me, Grant, and Michelle. We both left with our trucks to go try to find a campsite because we saw the campsite before and it was super muddy. And I think we drove like an hour and a half away from where they were fixing the truck, and we couldn't find any campsites at all.
And there were supposed to be possible campsites.
Yeah, exactly. There was like a few, but like they were either closed off or too small for the group that we had.
Or taken.
Like I said, just plan ahead, especially if you're going with a group like ours where we went, I think like 6 vehicles. You have to make sure that you can try to find a big campsite, because if not, then you're going to be out of luck. Especially down here in like the south end of the United States, there's not much overlanding down here compared to the west side. So, you know, plan more ahead over here at least. Honestly, anywhere you're overlanding, I feel like safety and planning ahead is very important.
Your trail etiquette.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's something else. Trail etiquette is very important because that's something that we kind of went through.
Especially
our first time too, because we didn't know about it.
In a popular trail, when you know there are going to be a bunch of people going and viewing and seeing the overlooks, know what
side you take. Yeah,
just know what you're supposed to do when you see someone else.
There was multiple situations when we were going up the mountain and we were on the edge, obviously, and there would be cars that come around the corner, you know, going like 15 miles an hour through the corner, and it makes us afraid because of the fact that, you know, we're on the edge.
Especially with so many cars and stuff like that.
The final things that we wanted to say were just enjoy yourselves, enjoy the experience, because I mean not many people get to do this, and you know we have the opportunity to
of photos.
A lot of photos.
That's something we regret not doing so much.
We did a lot this trip, but like previous trips we hadn't.
Especially our first trip.
Oh yeah, our first trip we did not. I mean, I guess it was our first trip, so we were trying to enjoy it as much as possible, but just make sure to take a lot of photos, enjoy yourself, and don't think too much of it. I mean, I know there's going to be hiccups and stuff like that, but just go with the flow. It is what it is. But thank you guys for watching. This has been Gabriel and Michelle, and
we'll see you guys later.
Yep.
Love the rig.
Thank you.
Love it.
Welcome to our podcast.
We never actually
Stop
did that.
touching your face.
Babe, we can't just keep restarting and pretty decent price. I found this one for a pretty decent price.
Take a picture of how I look on the camera.
You look fine.
What is it called when you're off the edge and somebody is in like coming?
Trail etiquette.
Yes.
Anyway, so I bought